Tonight, the Bristol Fire Department is mourning the loss of its deputy chief. Flags are flying at half-staff in honor of Deputy Chief Frank Sousa, who was killed in a single-car crash last night. Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell joins us now with new details on the crash and how Sousa is being remembered.
This afternoon, I spoke with Bristol's town administrator. During our conversation, he got choked up remembering Frank Sousa. Bristol firefighters are mourning one of their own. Deputy Chief Frank Sousa was killed in a crash yesterday evening. Bristol police tell us Sousa's pickup truck careened through this intersection across Metacom Avenue and hit a fence. The 50-year-old was taken to Rhode Island Hospital where he was pronounced dead.
I could not believe it.
Bristol Town Administrator Tony Texera was called to the crash scene.
It was pretty evident that things were getting dimmer and dimmer.
Sousa was a volunteer firefighter for years. He was also on Bristol's payroll as the town's fire marshal.
He really was very caring. Even on the aspect of inspections, folks always talked about him, that he was a man of the letter of the law, but yet he was compassionate about what he did, and he did a tremendous job.
Bristol is a community familiar with mourning. In June, Bristol police officer Richard Gene Georges died in a swimming accident abroad. And just a couple weeks ago, the town buried First Sergeant Andrew McKenna, who was killed in action in Afghanistan.
As a community, we are very resilient. We have come together twice before. We'll do it again.
Sousa was off duty at the time of the crash. Today, we requested the police report, but police did not release it to us, saying the accident is still under investigation. Coming up new at 6, the town administrator describes a pet project that Frank Sousa was so proud of here at the firehouse. In Bristol with the East Bay Mobile Newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.
The local fire department is mourning the loss of one of its own. The Bristol Assistant Fire Chief died in a single-car crash last night. It's a story that was first breaking last night at 11. And tonight, Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell has new details from the East Bay Mobile Newsroom in Bristol.
Bristol's town administrator says Frank Sousa was a dedicated volunteer firefighter for years. Sousa was also on Bristol's payroll as the town's fire marshal. There's black bunting draped across the Defiance Fire Station, and flags there are at half-staff as Bristol mourns the loss of Deputy Fire Chief Frank Sousa. He was killed in a single-car crash last evening.
I could not believe it. He really was very caring, and he did a tremendous job.
As they mourn, the Bristol community is also remembering all of Sousa's years of service to the town. And today, we learned this was his pet project.
That was almost like his baby. We had a brush fire a few years ago, and he was determined that we would get something to be able to fight those more efficiently. And so he actually was very instrumental in chasing down a Humvee. He was so proud of that.
Bristol police say Sousa's pickup truck careened through this intersection across Metacom Avenue and hit a fence. Sousa was taken to Rhode Island Hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was 50 years old. Sousa was not on duty at the time of the crash. Today, we requested the accident report. Police refused to give it to us, saying this crash is still under investigation. In Bristol with the East Bay Mobile Newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.